Got the rear steer watch.
Where's all the chicks?
Barking up the wrong trees. A lot of people have a lot of feelings about the Hummer EV, especially as a daily driver, and I am admittedly one of them. But what if you could use the Hummer EV in an off-road setting as the engineers intended? This is Out Motorsports, the channel for cars as you are. My name is Jake, and I'm here in Moab, Utah, where they actually developed and engineered a lot of the Hummer EV. We're here with the 2024 Hummer EV SUV in its full-on 3X configuration with the Extreme Off-Road package. So that's going to be the tri-motor setup with all the off-road goodies. Let's hit the trails and see how it goes. So hello from the Hummer EV and what feels like the top of the world. We took the roof out. You can take the panels off. It's 4 panels that fit in the front. And we're leaving our lunch stop and we're gonna head back down the trail. I have no idea what trail we're on, but we're somewhere here in Moab. So couple of things about the hardware on this truck. We got to talk to the lead engineer last night over dinner who did all of the dynamics and handling calibration. So he did, suspension and ride comfort and all this sort of stuff. So this one is the Extreme Off-Road package, which means you've got these 18-inch wheels and mud terrain tires. It's on a 35-inch tire, and that necessitated a few changes. So suspension tuning is slightly different over a non-extreme off-road truck. And you've also got more skid plates, some extra protection underneath. You might have just heard it, you've also got some rock sliders that double as side steps. So those can take the entire weight of the vehicle being dropped. I don't know from what height, but it can take the weight of the vehicle being dropped on them, and this is not a light girl. So pretty impressive hardware there. And then all Hummer EVs have, well, this one being a tri-motor, it's got a virtual locking differential at the back, which is basically just software. It's still got a button here, but it's software that tells the rear motors to operate more or less at the same speed. They give you some slip so that you can still turn without totally crab walking. And then you do have a locking front differential on this one. So that is what you've got with the tri-motor. If you get a dual motor, it's going to be a more traditional locking rear diff, but they do have that capability on those. And then the other fun fact I learned is that the Extreme Off-Road trucks don't have a rear sway bar because the calibration with the tires and the suspension made it so that they actually wanted more body movement, and they kind of soak that all up and deal with it in the suspension and the tire, and the rear sway bar would have made it a little too tight. It wouldn't have done quite as well. Now, one interesting thing, all of these Hummer EVs have 4-wheel steering, and this is where we're going to start talking about how this truck drives and how it drives off-road. So I've got it in terrain mode, which is the most aggressive off-road mode. You've got your normal drive mode for driving on the highway around town, which is not really where these things are their happiest. They want to be off-road, but terrain mode is going to be your slow rock crawly mode, and then there's an off-road mode that's more for higher speed, desert driving or things that are not quite like what we're doing here. So these trucks all have 4-wheel steer, and you can probably see from the truck in front of me, we are using it here. What's interesting, they can do up to 10 degrees of counter steer at slow speeds, but depending on the drive mode you're in, you're actually gonna get a different amount of rear steer. So in normal mode, you get 0.3 to 1. So for every 1 degree you turn the front wheels, you get 0.3 of a degree up front. If you're in the off-road mode, there's that slider again. If you're in the off-road mode, you get 0.6 to 1. So for every 1 degree, you get 0.6 degrees out on the rear. Now for the terrain mode, this is where this is really cool and we're having a lot of fun. You actually get 1.2 degrees for every 1 degree of front. So it actually feels a little oversteery. It's really cool. It brings the total turning circle down to 34.5 feet, which is the same as a Chevy Bolt, if you're curious about that. So you can really get it around these corners. You'll see here, this is a somewhat tight left-hander here, and this is going to be easier than I think it should be. I don't have to make a 3-point turn. I'm just gonna wait and kind of come in late, and then the entire thing just pivots, and I think that is tremendously cool. This is still a really wide vehicle. If you've got narrow trails by you, you're not gonna get it down without pinstriping it, but if you've got the width, it does work, and the steering makes it super maneuverable. Now also in terrain mode, they changed the throttle pedal calibration, try saying that a couple times fast, and it gives you more aggressive one pedal driving. So instead of a lighter pedal, it actually gives you true one pedal where you can come to a complete stop. Now I'm just in drive, but there is a low here, and it's not a low range. There's no gearing that changes, but it just ramps up the aggression of that one pedal. So really nice. I first experienced this on the Colorado and Canyon, which are obviously gas powered, and they use an electronic brake booster on those to make that work. Here, of course it's electric because the whole truck is electric, but it's the same premise. They can dial in how much they want you to get brake assist with your one pedal driving based on your drive mode. So that's a terrain mode exclusive feature there. Otherwise, you've got regular one pedal driving, which does work pretty well, but this is just a little added benefit. Now the four-wheel steer makes this feel more maneuverable, but these are indeed shorter than the Hummer EV pickup truck. You've got 9 less inches of wheelbase. Don't let your mind go anywhere else there, but it does make this feel more maneuverable. And when you're in the highest ride height mode, which is called extract mode, you actually get a really, really strong departure angle as a result. It's almost 45 degrees, which is pretty wild. So plenty of capability here. And then I mentioned that extract mode, these do all have 4-corner air suspension. So they can go up and down based on the ride height that you pick on this drive mode dial here. And in this case, we are 2 inches higher than normal. So that's 2 inches higher of ground clearance versus the normal drive mode. It is independent of off-road or terrain mode selection. You can pick it whenever you want, but there's also an extract mode that gives you another 6 inches of clearance on top of that. So if you're in full extract mode, it's gonna be almost 16 inches of ground clearance, which I find just wild to me. So that's not something you're gonna use all the time, because when you've got the bags fully inflated, of course, the effective like spring rate and everything is just terrible. It's not gonna be very comfortable, but it will get you unstuck if you indeed find yourself in a little sticky, tricky situation. So we've moved on to a different part of the trail. We're gonna do some sort of stair-steppy down the stairs here, and what they're having us use is what they are calling low range. Now, this being an EV and not having a 2-speed transfer case, what that is doing is really just changing how aggressive the electronic brake booster is working. It's changing how the throttle mapping is, so it's not actually real gearing, but it is gonna help me stay significantly slower with more throttle control as I go down this big descent here. Now I do have this in that terrain mode, so I've got some extra clearance versus normal. I'm not an extract because I do want that suspension compliance. And then I am using the front cameras because this is a big truck. The hood is huge and it's square. You've got an idea of where the corners are, but you don't really have the best idea of what's directly in front of you. They have something like 17 camera views on this truck, including some under it. And this is just gonna be, hopefully, a bit of a cakewalk to walk this thing down. We've got very light throttle control. I mean, I'm moving it what feels like a millimeter or two, and I've just got precise control here. This is really easy to like literally walk this down one little stair at a time. This is really cool. You're not gonna miss, if you're a serious off-roader, you're not gonna miss the low range gearing in this. Ooh, wow, we're looking straight down. This is fun. This is fun. But it's just so easy, just walk it like this. I'm waiting for the rock sliders to hit. They told us we're gonna be using the sliders and the skid plates and everything to not worry, but just to go slow. But this is just so, I can't tell you how little I'm moving my foot here, and it's just so easy. And I'm not just blowing smoke up Hummer's ass. Ooh, that's the slider. Oh, the control of this, the throttle calibration on this is fantastic. And I'm waiting for the rear to drop down, waiting. There, and there we go. Nice and easy, nice and easy. We've got one more here. The screen says this is right now, a 16-degree pitch forward, and it's about to be stronger. I'm still in low. I'm just gonna creep. It's gonna drag the back wheel a touch, I think. We're down to 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 25 degrees pointed down, and it just walked right down it. This is really, they've got this well thought out, well programmed. All right, so we're at this kind of shelf, and they've told us to switch to extract mode, which is gonna be another 6 inches of clearance. It gives you a much better departure angle, and it helps with breakover a little bit as well, of course. So all I'm gonna do is hit this button one more time. And like I mentioned, that is not gonna be the best for ride quality, but it gets you that extra height that you might need. Now it tells you in the screen your maximum speed for this is 12 miles an hour, which 12 miles an hour on an off-road trail is horrifying, so please don't ever do that. But as we go up here, wait for the light to stop blinking. We've got that extract mode, we've got the extra height, and we're gonna go nice and slow. This is, again, very steep. And I'm gonna pick my line and go this way. We're gonna drop one wheel in the dirt and one wheel off the rock here. Teeter-tottering a little. Probably hear the brake booster kind of helping manage traction and power and stopping. And it's just walking right down. And a little bit more, a little more. Where's that rear? Right there. Right there. Nailed it. Yeah. They just came on the radio and said we're doing the technical descent, which I guess is more technical than the other technical stuff we've done. So they've actually got Todd, that engineer, the lead engineer of the dynamics and handling, he's gonna be outside spotting for us, and we're gonna go one at a time here. So this does look pretty slow. I will be looking for some guidance because despite doing some of this off-road stuff, I wouldn't say I'm great at it. The truck just makes me look better than I am, smarter than I am. I'm just following Todd's hands. A little bit right, a little bit left. All right, she's doing it, she's doing it. Nice and easy. We're using these sliders, honey. Easy. You could hear we use the sliders there a little bit, but with some good spotting. Again, piece of cake in low, in terrain, just crawling on down. And that was in the terrain mode with the regular extended ride height, not the secondary extract mode. And so as we're headed to the next obstacle, it is worth mentioning, this is my first time really off-roading seriously in an electric vehicle. It's really wild because it's so quiet. We've got the ventilated seats on in this one, and that's the literal loudest thing around me. If I turn them off, it would just be the little noise the truck makes to alert pedestrians because we're going 5 miles an hour, and just tires on dirt and, you know, occasionally slapping a branch or something. But it's really a cool, immersive, special experience, especially with the roof off. This is the most immersed I've been, even more than a Wrangler with the doors off, because it's quiet. It's very, very cool. All right, so we've got one of our big climbs here, and I was told if I lock the front diff as well, this should just walk itself up. I am pointed straight up at the sky. Holy shit. I am using the front cameras for this and just going straight, and here we go. Oh, that's so bizarre. Okay, and they said S-bend, so I'm gonna go this way, follow where everyone else is gone. So that was easy to start. Now having that front locker on means my front steering is gonna be compromised a little bit, so I wanna actually go back to just the rear for a moment. Still got my rear steer, even with the rear locker. And I'm gonna leave the front unlocked and see if it'll do it. Get a little bit of tire slippy. Just keep some momentum up. Keep it up, keep it up. Start turning, steady throttle. And we just go straight up the hill. Right up, straight up.
A little bit passenger side.
Is this the Starbucks?
A lot of passenger side. There you go. You'll see it. Keep going passenger.
Got a soy latte for Alexis?
I heard there was pink drink. Okay, this is a big downhill and it's blind, and I don't like this one bit. We're back in low.
Make sure they've gone.
Yeah, they're gone. We're using the cameras and we're going This is like when you crest the hill on the roller coaster and you know you're gonna drop. Holy shit. Okay, but it's in low and it's just walking itself down, giving it a millimeter of pedal travel. This is insane. Does this show the degrees of... I don't know what our pitch down is, but it has to be 25 degrees. Oh my God. Okay, that was unnerving, but we did it. Holy cow. And we got another one. We're still gonna... Hey, all right. Just nice and easy throttle. Come on, come on.
You got it. Stay into it.
Yep.
You got it.
Come on, come on. There we go. There we go.
Cheat code right there.
Yep. All right. All right. So for reference there, I was in the floor for a minute and it was still just not quite doing anything, but a little bit of sawing left and right did get me moving. So that's your cheat code that Todd was saying. I would never recommend being in the floor trying to go up a rock face, but you know, doing what he told me. He said keep in it, spin them, so I did. So we've come to this hill, which my drive partner just said, are we going up there because, I quote, it looks very fucking steep. And it does look very steep. So I've got the front locker on as well, which is that real mechanical locker, and I'm just gonna get lined up, make sure the guy in front of me is out of the way, and just give it nice and easy. What's fun here is I've got the roof off so I can see the top of the hill through the roof. And they told me that it would just walk right up this as I pinstripe their truck. Jesus, sorry. Yeah, this is very steep, but just cruising along, staring at the sky. Oh, there's Todd. Nice and easy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Well, I was terrified, but you know.
And so that's about it for our trail running here in Moab. This has definitely broadened my perspective, given me a little bit, the truck has endeared itself to me a little bit more. You know, I had one of these to use as a tow vehicle to just kind of drive on the highway, and you know, it's not the best for just a daily driver. It's noisy on the highway. It's not the most efficient thing, of course, even as an EV, efficiency still matters. But, you know, what this has shown, and of course that's the intent of this whole drive that we're on, this has real off-road chops. You know, the Hummer H1, of course, did. The H2 and H3 also had a lot of capability, which I think a lot of people kind of ignored because of the styling. And I think a lot of us, maybe myself included, were going down that path on our own because, you know, this is very much love it or hate it styling. And these only appeal to some people. But if you do have the space to use this off-road and you plan on doing it, this is a really remarkably engineered machine that, you know, I think can hang with a lot of well-built combustion-powered stuff off-road. And there's a lot of clever tricks to it. There's a lot of fun, you know, the crab walk feature that we haven't even tried here, but you know, they're using all this different hardware very creatively on top of using it to do well off-road. So really fun to get to experience it all. Of course, we'll take one of these SUVs and tow with it when we've got one back home in the DC area. But that is it. I'm going to take a shower and get all this dust off of me and out of my teeth and my eyes and head back home. So till next time, please stay safe, be well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.